Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast, one man's anonymous and live account of if he should get a divorce or stay married. He's been cheated on and he's cheated, protecting the innocent with changed voice patterns, the omission of names, ages and genders. His authentic journey and account of the daily events of his marriage are helping him sort out his feelings and not get lost in the ups or the downs. New episodes are released daily. Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast. Entire seasons are released on Patreon weeks before anywhere else. At Divorce Diaries podcast Patreon page. Link in description. Now for today's episode.
Good morning. As I record this, this is the reboot of Divorce Diaries podcast where I'm not angry as fuck, but I'm trying to just record the diary entries as I see them from a clearer, calmer, less angry, more rational perspective. So right now, I am headed down to a storage space that I procured because moving, selling the house that we lived in as a family and we're renting, and so there's a transition now happening, and my kids are with my wife, and I'm doing all the heavy lifting back at our home. And even though I helped get them down there and moved them all in, and she's been, purchasing things and getting that place ready and decorated and things like that. It's really what she's doing, purchasing things and building things. So it's hard accepting reality, and the reality of my marriage is and always was just my wife and I we have different ideals and different ways we go about living life, which is why I very much need to divorce her. And I will say I was more sour on marriage because I was connecting dots that I shouldn't have been connecting, I don't think. I was really sour on marriage because I found a lot of the plights and struggles in my marriage. A lot of my male counterparts, they were going through the same things. Like their wives and their maybe uncontrollable or impulsive spending. I used to view that, and I used to just get so angry and say, oh, how could my wife do that? Why doesn't she care about our family? Why can't she keep her money and save it? Why does she just spend everything? Why is she such a consumer? And I would talk to many men, and their wives do the same things. I'm sorry, just in case you could hear the world. I'm recording in the car with transporting some tires right now to my storage space, so I need the windows open. So I would empathize with the men and their constant complaining because I had the same complaints, and it's just, I guess, one of those misery loves company things, or a friend, enemy of my enemy is my friend, or something, whatever. Like, I just said, hey, my wife's like that too. My wife's like that too. And then I got really angry, and it was really unfortunate actually looking back on it now, because I'm just like, oh, women are this and women are that. And I went on this he-man woman bashing tour in my first bunch of episodes recorded. I think I may put all of those episodes up on Patreon because, well, first let me say why are all of my episodes down? My first, I don't know however many, 75 to 100 episodes of me and my anger and rage. Why are they no longer up on the podcast in its general feed? Because one of my kids and my wife kind of found out about it. I wasn't keeping it a super secret, but I definitely didn't want my wife knowing that I was recording this stuff. So I just I was discreet about it. And you know that anytime someone is in a house and they're being discreet about something, covering their phone or putting it face down or changing computer windows when they're doing work, the other person's going to say like, all right, what the hell's going on here? What are you doing? What's going on? And that's what happened. So I guess she just started taking note. And I wasn't rushing to change windows, rushing to close them, but I was being discreet. I was just being discreet. And that made her, more curious, maybe even rightfully so. So she found out the podcast was called The Divorce Diaries, looked it up on Instagram, and got really pissed off. How could you do this? How could you post this? This is all our business. It's just like you're just talking shit about me. And she was right. I was just talking shit about her. To her credit, she didn't say I was lying about anything. But also to my wife's credit, she pulled my card and said, it's like you're just talking shit about me. You're airing our dirty laundry. This isn't really a diary. You're just talking shit about me. And I went and did some soul searching, and I said, geez, yeah, I'm just fucking complaining into this microphone. And hearing myself back when I was editing them, I'm like, that I focus a lot on the facts. And I felt righteous because there was nothing that I said that was a lie, that was fake, that was a falsehood. So with all of that in mind, I said, hey, I have every right to post the truth, my truth, because this is my diary entry. This is my diary, but it's not all my business. And my changing of my voice, that's cool. Anonymously posting it, that's cool too. But how can I say it? But with that being her business as well, I didn't, it's almost like I'm doing some weird shit, like I'm recording you privately, you without your knowledge, and then posting it. That means I'm not even giving her, honestly, I'm not giving her the opportunity to say like, hey, since I know you're going to be telling the world about this conversation, or you could possibly do that, I accept the terms of this engaging in this conversation, and I'll talk to you. I just did it, so, I mean, obviously it would be way worse if I was, using her name and where we live and a lot of identifying characteristics and stuff like that. That would be a way more fucked up thing, but that doesn't mean what I'm doing isn't fucked up. So that's why I took everything down. But I think that it is worth hearing, especially for the men that need to calibrate themselves like I did. You are likely on a he-man, woman-hating tour like a lot of men can find themselves. You're likely upset at realities as well. And I get it, but you're likely fucking up your perspective too. And you're not looking inward. And you're not looking at things that you maybe could have and should have accepted along the way, like me. Right now, I understand. I think I've always understood who my wife was, but I didn't accept it, which is why I always rejected her, in the sense that I always criticized her and tried to fix her. I, on some level, viewed her as a broken person that was wrong, that I needed to fix and make right. And this is one of those things. So I'm moving everything down to storage, and she texted me today. So first, let's start with yesterday, and then I'll go to today. And this isn't an indictment on her, but it's just, here's the series of events, and here's the way that I look at it, and here's the way that she has communicated with me that she looks at it. Yesterday, I texted her and said, hey, because our home is near this place, this liquor store that's in our town. Our newer place is there. And our old place is far away. I said, hey, I'm going to go down to the storage place. And I didn't say overtly that I could use some help, but I'll be at the storage space at 1. You can meet me there. And then I'm going to go to that liquor store so I can get some Four Roses single barrel whiskey, bourbon. And she's like, okay, I can make that happen. I'll see you at 1 or something like that. Okay. I get to the storage space, but mind you, now here's how I move and operate with my wife. When she says she's going to do something, I fully expect her to flake. So what happened was I get to storage. She's not there. I start loading things up because I say, you know what? Don't wait for her. She's not going to show up. I take one load up to the storage area, put it all in by myself. It would have been maybe 10 minutes if I was by myself, but instead it took me about 20, double the time. You know, half the people, double the time. And then my phone rings when I'm on my last trip, and she's like, hey, are you at the liquor store yet? And I say, no. Very cold no, because I'm like, you told me that you would be here, and you're not. And you told me you'd do something, and you didn't. You broke your word. So the type of person that I am, I good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent, I live on that righteous front all the time. And when I say I'm going to do something, I do it, because there's no one that's gonna, you know, hold my feet to the fire, put a gun to my head, and actually make me follow through with something I say I'm going to do. No one's gonna do that. But I find it noble and honorable when you keep your word. When a person says, I'll be there at 6, I'd like to see them at 6. I feel really good when I pull up at 5:45 and they're pulling in at the same time, or they're already there. I feel a little bit astonished and amazed. I also feel pretty good when they are there at 6:05 or 6:10, and there's a text at maybe 5:57 that says, I'm going to be about 5 minutes late. I feel really good. I feel like this person is righteous, they're considerate, and they were trying, but something happened, something came up, but they did their best. So back to the phone call, I can't let it go, and this has always been my problem. I don't start a fight, so I'm different in that way, but I can't let it go. I say, you said you'd be here at 1. Oh, I got caught up. I was doing this, I was doing that, and I was just going to meet you there. So she made sure that she was there for the fun, there for the let's go pick up the alcohol, and let's go walk around the store together, because that's what she wants to do, and I understand that. She wants to walk around the store, she wants to grab my arm, and she wants to play couple. She wants to play couple with the things that make her feel good, and she wants to do what she wants to do. But me doing the lifting of bins and boxes and stacking them in a storage space and doing this exercise of dankness, that's not something that she's up for. That's not something that she wants to do. So she's just going to, I don't know what she's going to do, but it seems like she's going to make excuses to not do the things she doesn't want to do. Like most people. I do that too. Now, okay, and let's just go to today. So today it's 10 in the morning now, and I've been up since about 7:30. I did some yoga, and then I have been loading the truck, and I've been trying to sell a bunch of stuff on an app, and because we're moving, and you're just kind of purging and getting rid of a bunch of things. So now I've got this full truck, and I'm going down, and she texts me after. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna be up there on the weekends. I'm gonna be up there, and I'm gonna help. First off, she works close to our old home. She could have come, but she chose not to. And now she's told me, I'm gonna help. I promise I'm gonna help. And then she sends a text that says, maybe we should. No, let me give you the exact context. She told me today that she would be here, and her exact text is, do you still want me to come there to help, or should I just keep working here? Divide and conquer. She doesn't want to come back up to our home and help, I don't think, because she's promised me that she would come and help. There is a lot of work to do in a 4-bedroom house that we're trying to leave. There's a lot I've had to throw away. There's a lot I've had to purge. There's a lot, and it's been absolutely horrible doing this by myself. Now, and I have to be out by a certain date. There's a deadline I have to be out, but this new place, we could get in there anytime we want. But she's had no problem buying a TV, setting that up. She's had no problem buying headboards and building those. She's had no problem doing all of this. She can't keep her word to me. It's hard accepting this. It's hard accepting that I didn't evaluate if I could depend on her or not. And accepting the fact that I can't depend on my wife is why I know I have to get a divorce. It's not in all of my past episodes when I was red pill raged, ranting, angry as shit, I said, I want a divorce, I want a divorce, I want a divorce. And at the end of most of them, a few of them I said, I'm not sure if I want one, but for the most part, it was an overwhelming, I want a divorce. But it was a bit childish. I was like a toddler, and I was just crying and complaining. But now I'm like, oh, I need to get a divorce, and I feel that a divorce from this woman will be the best thing for me because I want to depend on my partner, whether it's a business partner, I'm doing some sort of partnership with my child, my person I'm in a long-term relationship with. Hey, can you be here to help me out with this thing? And they're like, yeah, I'll be there and I'll help you out. And they are. I'm like, okay, cool. Great. I'm glad you'll be here to help me. And then they do it. And knowing that I'm married to someone that will tell me something, but then they don't do it, I never wanted to accept it. But reality is a funny thing because it's something that you can't escape. And yeah, that's what the fuck is happening right now. There's no getting around it. I have to accept the fact that I cannot depend on what my wife says. And this whole moving process, I've just said, I have to do this all by myself. I know you're not going to help me. I said it to her maybe twice. And knowing that she's not going to help me, it hurts. It really does hurt that she's not able to keep her word to me. She's able to do what she wants. She's able to buy headboards and put those in and do all this other stuff. And I'm going to say, in the defense of her as a person, this is what she feels is the best thing to do. She feels that getting the house in order, getting it cleaned up, getting it ready, getting it this, getting it that, the new place, that's what's the best thing for her to do. So she's going to do it. But she also, I think, from what she said, she feels that it would be best for the family and everyone. And I don't know that I can find a way to help her to understand that this is not the best thing to do. We are a husband and wife. I need your help doing this thing. I need your help because there's so many things that are going to come from you not helping me. I'm having to accept a reality. My reality isn't her coming up, hey, I'm going to make one trip up to the house so I can help you with the stuff, and then I'm going to get out of here so I can go back and I can do these 5 things because I got to get those done. Is that okay? I mean, I feel like I've evaluated everything. But I know I said I would be there for you, and I know that you need to do this, and I'm not going to leave you to do this alone. But she did. And she is leaving me to do it alone. And I have so much pressure and stress on me. And why I'm saying I know I need to get a divorce, I need to get a divorce from her, is because I understand that I need to be able to depend on my wife to do what she says she will do. And knowing that I cannot depend on my wife makes me feel like, understand that I am in a relationship that has a dynamic and a quality that I don't want in my life. So that's it. Men, women, whoever's married in a long-term relationship or whatever, if you have found yourself whining, complaining, upset, angry, like me, about things about maybe one or the same thing or whatever, that's affecting you in your life and relationship, take your time. Figure out what's really bothering you and what you really want, and if that person can really give it to you or do it for you. Think about that. Because then you'll get to a place of acceptance where you'll be able to say, oh, I'm a vegan. This person loves cheeseburgers. Not like a love like, usually when I go out, I'll eat a cheeseburger. No, this person they like bison burgers. They like turkey burgers. They like double burgers. They like cheap fast food burgers. They eat White Castle burgers. They like burgers so much, and you understand that you hate people that eat meat. It's just not your thing. So you can't accept that. It's just something that's really, really hard for you to accept. Your person is your person does something that you can't accept. And don't be angry at them. Don't be the shitty person that's trying to change them. My wife doesn't keep her word. And for some people, that might be like, it's not really that big a deal. I'm pretty flexible. A real go with the flow type of person would be better for my wife. Now, my wife I think she needs a little bit of structure and something to be able to depend on, as do I. So I feel like for her, I think that's why my wife has been much more happy probably in our relationship than I have. Because I probably am able to give my wife a little more of what she needs and requires, even though she doesn't like my attitude sometimes and when I can be harsh and when I can be a little bit cold and cutting. My wife doesn't really like some of that, but I'm not that all the time, and it's usually only when I'm reacting to some poor behavior of hers that my wife and I really have problems, or poor behavior in my view, right? Like not keeping her word. And yeah, she's been really honest over time. She's been really honest, and she said things like, hey, we had a really big argument one day about plans. Yeah, we had a big argument about plans one day, and because I said, hey, when you make plans, you want to keep those plans, and she's like, no, you don't need to keep your plans. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't need to? What do you mean you don't need to keep your plans? She's like, oh, you don't. People can change plans. I say, yeah, people can change plans, but there was some weird seriousness in her voice about these plans, and I'm like, I'm not really getting what you're saying. If someone makes a plan, to be somewhere at noon, and the other person just like doesn't show up, I'm like, that's not really cool. You shouldn't do that. And she's like, why not? Like, plans can change. And I said, no. If you name something a plan, that means other people make arrangements, concessions, whatever, to plan to do things around you. That's why it's called a plan. And she's like, no, but plans can change. Yes, well, okay, well then I'm with you. Plans should maybe change far in advance. They should change beforehand. They should be discussed if they're going to be changed with the other person so that new plans can be made. But either way, whether plans are changed once or 1,000 times, they should be discussed and agreed upon so it can become a plan. She said, yeah, but even still, they can just And I understood how my wife's value system and her ideals worked. She has the ideal system, and the way that things work with her is everything is pretty much fluid. Words don't need to be kept. Promises, if made, can be broken. That is just the way that she operates. And accepting that truth, that to me, I'm like, how could a person be that? How could a person? And I was just such a dick to her when I should have just not been with her. That's the type of person you are. Oh, okay. You're the type of person that kicks a cat. I don't want to be around anyone that kicks a cat. It's not my bag, not my thing. So I'm just going to go this way. Oh, you're the person that doesn't keep plans? Okay. I don't, oh yeah, let's make a plan. Let's have children together where there need to be plans made. Oh, let's do this thing. Let's start this business together. No. This is not the person for me. And I really can't say at this point, if I'll always love her, because now that I'm accepting and understanding who my wife is for real, it's like, oh, I fell in love with someone that was a kind of a caricature of what, in my mind, of what they were, or I created a version of them that I wanted very badly. And now that I know, my wife isn't what I hoped for, she isn't what I wanted, she isn't, and that's okay. I don't think she's a bad person. She's just not my person.
Wow, that was the Divorce Diaries podcast. The Daily Saga will continue tomorrow. The full season's episodes are on Patreon now. Subscribe for early access. Click the Patreon link in the description. Hopefully these entries help our anonymous recorder as a form of his own personal therapy. That's his hope and his intention. Will these recordings of life's curveballs lead this family to the best resolution in the end? We'll keep listening. New episodes are released daily on all podcast players, but all episodes are available on Patreon at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Until next time.